There's a type of person who seems fine from the outside. They go to work. They answer messages. They laugh at the right moments. They pay bills, make plans, scroll through other people's updates, and say things like, "Yeah, I'm doing okay." But underneath, there is this quiet feeling they rarely say out loud. I'm behind. Behind where I should be. Behind the people I grew up with. Behind the version of myself I thought I would have become by now. And the strange thing is, nothing dramatic has to be happening for this feeling to hurt. You can have a job, friends, a place to live, and still feel like your life is somehow late. Everyone thinks feeling behind means you are comparing too much, or not working hard enough, or being ungrateful. But that explanation is too simple, because psychologically, feeling behind in life is not only about achievement, it is often about identity. It is about looking at your current life and feeling like it does not match the timeline you are quietly carrying inside you. People usually misunderstand this feeling. They think the person who feels behind is lazy, or negative, or too sensitive, or stuck because they refuse to take action. Sometimes they say things like, "Everyone has their own path," which is true, but somehow does not reach the part of you that is hurting. Because the pain is not just, "Other people have more than me." The pain is, "Other people seem to know how to become themselves, and I'm still trying to figure out who I am supposed to be." That sounds simple until you look closer. For many people, feeling behind is not only a reaction to other people's success, it is a reaction to an invisible contract they made with life years ago. By this age, I should have figured out my career. By now, I should be in a serious relationship. By now, I should have more savings. By now, I should feel confident. By now, I should not still be confused. And when real life does not follow that script, they do not just feel disappointed, they feel exposed. Picture someone sitting in their car after work in a grocery store parking lot. The engine is off. Their phone is in their hand. They open Instagram for no reason, see someone from college announcing an engagement, someone else buying a house, someone else posting vacation photos from Italy. They are not angry at those people. That is the part nobody sees. They may even like the post. But after closing the app, the silence in the car feels different, heavier, like their own life has been compared against a scoreboard they never agreed to play on. Then they go inside, buy the same few groceries, avoid looking too long at the total, and tell themselves, "I just need to get it together." But the deeper question is, what does together even mean? For many people, the feeling of being behind comes from social comparison. Human beings naturally look around to understand where they stand. We compare because comparison gives us information. But modern comparison is not normal comparison. You are not comparing yourself to your neighbor, your cousin, or a few people in your town. You are comparing your private uncertainty to thousands of public highlights. You compare your messy apartment to someone's kitchen renovation, your quiet Friday night to someone's engagement party, your unfinished career path to someone's LinkedIn announcement, your internal doubts to someone else's polished caption. And once you see this, you can't unsee it. Most people are not comparing lives, they are comparing evidence. They look for evidence that they are okay, evidence that they are still desirable, evidence that they are not wasting their potential, evidence that time has not passed them by. That matters, because when someone feels behind, they are often not just chasing success. They are trying to restore a sense of personal safety. Psychologists often describe identity as the story we tell ourselves about who we are. And when life does not match that story, the mind tries to resolve the gap. Maybe you thought you would be more confident by now. Maybe you thought your family would be proud by now. Maybe you thought adulthood would feel more stable, more clear, less improvised. So when reality looks different, it can create an identity conflict. Part of you is living your actual life. Another part of you is still grieving the imagined life. And another part is watching everyone else and asking, "Did I miss something?" Here's where it gets interesting. The person who feels behind often does not stop caring. They may care too much. They care so much that every choice starts to feel loaded. One job is not just a job. It becomes proof of whether they are ambitious. One date is not just a date. It becomes proof of whether they are lovable. One quiet weekend is not just rest. It becomes proof that they are falling further behind. That's the trap. When life starts feeling like a test of your worth, even ordinary decisions become emotionally expensive. Should I move cities? Should I go back to school? Should I stay in this relationship? Should I start over? Should I be grateful? Or should I want more? And if you have ever stared at your ceiling at night, not exactly sad, not exactly panicking, just feeling like everyone else got instructions you never received, this might be why. But there is a paradox here. People who feel behind often look passive from the outside. They seem like they are not moving. They seem like they are waiting too long, thinking too much, hesitating too often. But inside, many of them are running constantly. Their mind is reviewing the past, scanning the future, calculating risks, imagining judgment, measuring time, comparing options, trying not to make the wrong move. They look still, but internally, they are exhausted. This is not random. Sometimes what looks like lack of motivation is actually emotional overload. When every step feels like it determines the rest of your life, the nervous system does not always respond with ambition. Sometimes it responds by freezing, not because you do not care, because you care so much that movement starts to feel dangerous. And this is where modern culture makes the wound deeper. In American life, there is a quiet pressure to always be becoming something. Build your brand, optimize your morning, monetize your hobby, find your purpose, heal yourself, network more, travel more, be independent, but also deeply connected, be ambitious, but not burned out, be visible, but not desperate for attention. Even rest has started to look like something you are supposed to perform. A peaceful morning has to become a post. A career change has to become a transformation story. A relationship has to become proof that you are chosen. A lifestyle has to become content. So when someone is in a slow, uncertain season, it does not just feel private, it feels almost shameful. Because the culture does not know what to do with unfinished people. It celebrates the before and after. It celebrates the comeback story. It celebrates the person who was lost, but only after they can explain exactly how they were found. But what about the middle? What about the person who is still in the fog? What about the person who is not failing, but not flourishing either? What about the person whose life is not falling apart, but quietly does not feel like theirs yet? Here's the part nobody talks about. Feeling behind can become a form of loneliness. Not because you have no one around you, but because you do not know how to explain your life without sounding ungrateful. You might say, "I'm just tired." But what you mean is, "I thought I would be further by now, and I don't know how to forgive myself for not being there." You might say, "I'm figuring things out," but what you mean is, "I feel embarrassed that I still don't have a clear answer." You might say, "I'm happy for them," and you are. But another part of you is wondering when it will be your turn to feel settled. So maybe the person who feels behind is not lazy. Maybe they are carrying a private grief for the life they thought would have arrived by now. Maybe they are not jealous. Maybe they are trying to understand why other people's milestones make their own silence feel louder. Maybe they are not unmotivated. Maybe their mind has been treating every decision like evidence in a case against them. And maybe this feeling is not weakness. Maybe it is adaptation. For years, many people learned to measure safety through progress. Good grades meant you were okay. Praise meant you were okay. Being ahead meant you were okay. Having a plan meant you were okay. Then adulthood came along and removed the clear scoreboard. No semesters, no report cards, no obvious next step. Just choices, bills, relationships, career shifts, quiet doubts, and other people posting the best 5% of their lives. So if you recognize yourself in this, the question is not, "What is wrong with me?" A better question might be, "What timeline am I still punishing myself for not following?" Who taught you that being loved required being impressive? When did you start believing that uncertainty meant failure? What part of you still thinks you need to become someone else before you are allowed to feel at peace? Because maybe you are not behind. Maybe you are in a part of your life that does not look meaningful yet because you are still inside it. Some seasons do not announce their purpose while they are happening. They just feel slow, unclear, embarrassing, too quiet to explain. But quiet seasons can still be forming something. Not always something dramatic. Not always a grand transformation. Sometimes just a more honest relationship with yourself. A life that is not built only to be compared. A pace that is not chosen out of panic. A future that belongs to you, not to the imaginary audience in your head. And maybe that is the deeper shift. Not trying to prove you are not behind, but slowly learning that your life does not become real only after other people can recognize it as successful. If this resonated with you, subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden psychology of everyday behavior. And if this felt familiar, you might want to watch the next video on why feeling stuck can sometimes be your mind's way of protecting you.